right, so what's it called? First of all, I like to start off and be like, "What's your name, man?"
Yo, what's good? My name is YFR Easy. That's YFREAZY. And I am a rapper. I make music and I also have a clothing brand called Easy Loves You. I just released a new collection of bubblegum hoodies. It's going really well. Make sure you get yours before it sells out because I don't think I'm going to restock anytime soon. So get it while you still can.
Yeah, hey, go get that. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
If anything, I'll put that link. I'll put those links in the bio for
You make sure you do that.
of course, of course, of course. So, I mean, honestly, like, how did you even get your name easy? Like, was it something that came naturally, or is it something that was given to you?
To be named, okay, so I'm a Nigerian man. So my first name is Azenwa, right? Ezenwa. I was born in Nigeria, and I left Nigeria when I was like 3 years old, 4 years old. I came to LA, and pretty much when I came to LA, I was around a bunch of hip hop. I was around a bunch of artists. So I had the name Easy because of how my name was when my name was introduced to other people. Like Easy E was a member of the NWA. So
That's
just by the spelling of my name, Easy E NWA, that's how I got the name Easy, and that's literally what I go by. And the YFR, I started doing music when I was a sophomore in high school, but I didn't know what name to call myself. I didn't want to have like a basic name like Lil Easy or Young Easy like any other
like
rapper was
every other
doing.
rapper.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to be something different.
Mhm.
But I did love the three letters and the name, like how YBN does it, or like, other rappers I can think of on the spot. I just like ASAP Rocky. I just like how the collective thing was in general. But I remember I was freestyling, and one of my little sister was like, "Oh, Easy, you're my favorite rapper," and I was like, "What is your favorite rapper stands for?" YFR, and I thought it was a really dope name at the time. But as I started doing music, I didn't want to be anyone's favorite rapper. So I kind of changed the concept of YFR. Like my name is still YFR, but the meaning of it is yearning for romance because the music I've been making recently is mainly like love songs or me talking about in relationships, like just me talking about me yearning for love. So I feel like that the YFR Easy now became like a certain character that I play when I go on stage and start performing, or when I'm like writing a song. It can even be about songs that people don't even exist. It's just
Yeah.
like it helps me stay in character and gives me a sense of purpose.
That's great. That's great to hear, honestly. But yeah, I mean, it's cool to have a name. Especially, I didn't even know what the YFR meant until you like said it. But it makes sense with your music as well, where it's like, oh, so this is his genre of music. This is how he feels, and it even says it within his name.
Hmm.
And honestly, a segue from that. In what ways do you think hip hop has influenced the world today?
Oh, hip hop plays a big, big, big role. As much as people try to downplay hip hop has changed lives. Like even from like the culture in general. Like this is think about it. This is a genre that black people created. Black people are one of the most influential, smartest people ever. So they hip hop came in New York, I believe. I forgot where in New York, but I believe it originated from New York, from the East Coast, right?
I live in the Bronx.
In the Bronx, I think in the
Yeah,
Bronx,
it should be
right?
in the Bronx.
And just like the whole culture in general, like the fashion, like the jewelry, the grills, like that's just all culture. And what I don't like is how like people use hip hop as a negative like aspect of music. Like it's just like trash music. Like hip hop is one of the best genres to ever touch music, and it's been dominating the charts from the Snoop Dogg's to the Doechis to the Tylers to the Kendrick. It's like, hip hop has changed in so many ways. Just because, like, I feel like it just brought more flavor in music. Like, rap is beautiful. Like, you can write about anything. You can talk about anything. You can talk about stories. You can talk about things that don't exist. I could talk about me loving someone. People can rap about shooting someone and all types of things. So it's just like it really just depends on what you like as a person. So in a way, like culture, that's like the answer I can give to you. Just culture. Culture really plays like a big part of that.
That's like one. Would that be like one way you kind of just sum up hip hop in one word? Would be
Culture.
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 Honestly, I completely agree with that. That does sound exactly what I think of hip hop. I think of culture. I think of what comes from. I mean, even the way I dress, the way I wear my jewelry, the way I do my things, the way I even talk
Mm-hmm.
comes from hip hop. And I genuinely believe you just saying culture that like sums it up completely to what it is. So now moving on from that, you said it hip hop originated from black people, African Americans, and 100% it does. However, do you think it should be open to everyone, or do you think it should stay more inclusive to just African American?
Now, this is like what this that I'm glad you asked that question because this is such like I don't want to say a touchy subject, but I feel like we need to like really face reality, right? Everything is like welcoming, right? Like I feel like black people are one of the most welcoming individuals, regardless of the shit that we've gone through as a past, how other races may see us. We are very welcoming. How many times have we seen black people be like, when someone of non-black does something that's like related to our culture, what like our skin color would do? They would say, "Oh, such and such is invited to the cookout," or such and that like he's one of us now, or we rocking with Mark because Mark rocking with us. We're very welcoming individuals. So what does bother me though is people who don't know where hip hop came from, they think they're qualified to speak on it. That's when I have the issue with someone who doesn't come from culture and don't know like how hip hop started. Like for someone who's never lived the experience that we as black people live through, the fact that they're able to like sit on interviews and podcasts and talk about us like we're not the creators of this, it's like it's kind of mind-boggling to me.
So would
So
you say that they're culture vultures in that sense?
I feel like there's culture vultures. Like we've seen it in so many artists. I'm not gonna say any names. I feel like if you can think of an artist on the top of your head, then that's what I'm talking about. They came into the game doing hip hop adjacent things because they know we as a community are gonna accept them because oh well, this is just like some white boy or white girl just acting like black people. So they're very welcoming. And once they got their platform, they quickly switch up their content. They switch up genres. Like it has happened so many times. And I don't think that will even be the last. It won't even be the last time people would do that. Like because we just so welcoming. And it's like I feel like I wish we can gatekeep hip hop, but at the same time, I feel like people need to like deserve to hear our struggles and like our love songs, right? Like because sometimes like when a lot of black artists write about love songs or like stuff they see in their environment, white people or non-black people just see it as a different thing, and somehow they will try to rearrange the meaning for us. And we're like, no, 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 no. That's not what they meant by this. So I feel like, yeah, we should be welcoming, but know your role when you enter in a space like that. I feel like you should know your role when you enter in a space like that.
I completely agree with you on that. I mean, because for the most part, that I hate. Oh, I always hate when people do say certain things like that. Like for example, when like, oh, you're trying to act black.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest thing with that is I cannot say I can't speak for everybody, but for me, I mean, I've personally been told, like, oh, you act like this, and then from a different culture, from a different this,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, well, for the most part, if I do sound like that, it's for the main reason of me. I lived in those areas where it was just primarily, predominantly black people, Asian people, and people don't really kind of understand that, and so they would just assume, and that's what I never really liked about that saying. Oh, you want to sound like it? It's like no, I grew up around it, so I mean, you kind of just adapt to it and you start to sound like that. However, uh, another question I would like to ask is, what does hip hop personally mean to you?
Hip hop means everything to me. And even for like, I'm Nigerian, like I appreciate, many different genres of music, but hip hop in general is like mine, one of my number one genres just because of like there's so much in hip hop. There's different subgenres of hip hop. Because, there's a lot of ignorance out on the internet and just like in real life. When people think of hip hop, they have this one minor thing. It's not just, we have Jay Z's, we have, no names, we have Chance the Rappers, we have Lil Uzi, we have Lil Yachty. Like there are different like genres of hip hop. So hip hop means everything to me because like I said, like when I grew up around LA, I started noticing the fashion statements. I started noticing the songs they're playing, and I grew up with it, and I had like a lot of love for it. Even though I enjoy listening to other genres, but hip hop holds a forever place in my heart. When I'm walking down the street trying to get ice cream, I'm hearing Easy E, real motherfucking G's and them
Mm-hmm.
6'4" Impalas. I'm hearing Snoop Dogg, the song "Beautiful" with Pharrell. Like it's just culture. When I'm in a liquor store and I'm hearing YG from My Crazy Life album, like it's just culture because like my environment around. So I feel like that's what made me love hip hop the most. And I think the best part about why I even started doing hip hop was just seeing people around my age doing that. And I thought if they can do it, there's no doubt that I can do it too. If I just work hard enough and be very consistent with my, content, I'm pretty sure I can get into those doors too.
You know, the in the beginning, I heard that you kind of mentioned like the certain people like Tyler, Jay Z, and these certain different artists. And for the most part, my biggest wonder was who are the biggest influences on your work within hip hop? Like, who influenced you to kind of make your music and those people that have influenced them?
Okay. When it comes to hip hop, um, I'm a very, very, very big fan of Tyler the Creator and the Lil Yachty, Amine, and there's someone else. Oh my God, there's someone else. ASAP Rocky. Because for Tyler the Creator, when he first came into the game, people in hip hop weren't respecting because he came to hip hop in a different approach. Tyler was just being himself, you know? And seeing how he built so many like accolades. I hope I'm saying that word correctly. Just seeing how he started out, right? You're in Hawthorne, you know, you grew up around Ladera Heights, and just like seeing the stuff around you, like it's easy to get caught up in that, gang life. It's easy to get caught up doing stuff you don't need to be doing. But to see him stay on his grind and not letting anyone tell him different, no matter people called him a weirdo, corny, and he just kept grinding and really loved his passion for music and just worked on it. And even the like fashion, like I feel like Tyler Creator is like also what's influencing the youth too. Like they want to dress like him too. And ASAP Rocky, like I feel like he was one of the coolest rappers when I was listening to like when I was a teenager. Like his cozy tapes with ASAP Mob, um, the albums he did, Long Live ASAP, like those were just like beautiful to me when I was listening to it. So I would have to say Tyler Creator, Kendrick Lamar. Oh my God, Kendrick Lamar. Um, ASAP Rocky, Kanye West in an early time, just because of his production and music. Because when I watched his documentary, it really made me realize like he had a vision, he had a plan to be one of the very best. And sometimes you got to move around like you're the best because if you're not your biggest cheerleader, who is going to cheer you on? You
Mm-hmm.
know, sometimes you have to be your biggest fan. You
Yeah,
know,
fake it too. I mean, you can fake it till you make it because honestly, that's the one thing that separates a lot of people from normal people is that you need to be so invested in yourself that you have to be delusional
hmm
to make that true. Because the people that are so delusional about making their dreams come true are the people that make it.
exactly. It's delusional, it's corny until you make it. And now
Mm-hmm.
conversations will be made about it.
Exactly. Documentaries. I mean,
hmm
your whole life's a story. You just got to be the one to write down the
Exactly.
words.
So, yeah, I just feel like consistency plays a very, very, very huge part of it.
Also, I heard also while you were talking as well, you mentioned ASAP Rocky, and I believe a lot of people kind of mentioned it within the world of hip hop and all that, where they said his fashion and the way he dresses was kind of it influenced a lot of different rappers, a lot of different people by the way he dressed. Because honestly, most of the time too, even for Young Thug, it was different. I mean, the way they will just try new different things. I mean, for the most part, people will say it'll be gay the way they're dressing, the way they take care of themselves, like within the game. But then eventually, you start to see people that are the most gangster doing these type of wearing these type of fashions things. And I was
hmm
wondering, have you ever felt that when you kind of put an outfit on and you got out to record a music video or kind of just do whatever, do you feel like you were somewhat kind of vulnerable and felt like a little insecure while being outside because you felt like it was something too new and you felt like people were gonna judge you off of it?
Yeah, absolutely. When I put on an outfit, I didn't always like dress like this. I wore like a lot of like regular clothing,
Mm-hmm.
and I just got into thrifting like 2022. So it's more of so like I'm inspired by like how other rappers and celebrities dress, and for me, it's like okay, I want to find my style, but I take inspo from them because when I go out in public and I put on a certain outfit, sometimes I get indecisive, right? I would wear a certain outfit at like 10 a.m. and when it gets late at night, I'll be like, you know what? Let me change it to another thing. So I guess yeah, insecurity does come a long way because a lot of people are scared to try something new. That's why they're stuck with the status quo of things. I feel like it takes one person. It takes one person to make that change. And when it starts, gaining attention, then that's when everyone starts following. Because at the end of the day, people are sheep. They're gonna follow whatever that's the hottest thing trending right now. As long as you stay on your purpose and you read the room, everything's gonna be fine.
And honestly, like just adding on to what you said, um, Champion. Champion was a Walmart brand.
Mm-hmm.
One athlete worn it, all of a sudden Champion's now 80, $60 for a hoodie, and it's like, okay. Like, I remember when it was like 10, $15. So,
Remember like the Aces, the nurse shoes that was like
yeah,
$20 in Walmart,
sure, yeah,
and now
exactly.
I'm.
Crocs,
Mm-hmm.
same,
Crocs used to be so cheap, and now
dude,
everyone's wearing them.
exactly. But one thing I like to just kind of wrap it all up. What what do you think makes a hip hop track stand out the most? Like, what do you think will make it so different from the rest of other genres?
I think what will make hip hop such different from other genres. First things first, before even words are being said, it's the beats. You can like sometimes like there are some artists who have really good beats. The lyrics don't really be much. You don't really take nothing from it. But when you hear a certain beat, that's what gets the people going. You can say the best words ever, but if you don't have a good beat, it doesn't really like people don't care what you have to say. But if you have a really good beat to have people like, even like hum the instrumental before you even start saying words, that's what draws attention. I feel like it's just the beats that plays a big role in that.
Yeah, honestly, hey, it's a beautiful thing, honestly, because I could even say like the moment that always needs to catch my attention before I even hear lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
If your beat is good, and then you follow up with the right lyrics, then it's like great song. But I mean, I feel like that concludes our interview.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing talking to you. I mean, getting to know you and to like
Thank
listen
you.
to what you had to say and everything. Very inspirational. Is there anything you want to plug or you want to kind of shout out?
Yes. Shout out to my mom and my father for bringing me to this earth, and shout out to my friends and family who believed in me and who trusted my ideas even when I felt like things wasn't going to work out. And shout out to all my loved ones and shout out to my haters too because I'm clearly doing something right if I have people hating on me, right? And I also want to shout out to my clothing brand, Easy Loves You. Make sure you get those bubblegum hoodies out. I have green, I have black, and I have pink. So, yeah, shout out to that too. And also shout out to the community too. I wouldn't be here where I would be if it wasn't for my community out here. So I'm just grateful and blessed, and I give everything to God, the man above. So this is YFR Easy.
Thank you so much for watching.
Of course. Thank you so much.